Danse, hello, welcome back to the Matriarch Movement podcast. I'm your host, Shayla Olette Stonechild, and I'm super excited because today I have with me actually a longtime friend. We've known each other for over a decade. She's literally known me since I was like 18 years old. Angel Aubichon is a Cree Metis designer, storyteller, and entrepreneur. She is the co-founder and visionary behind Indi City, a brand rooted in cultural heritage, innovation, and Indigenous economic sovereignty. What began as beadwork to support her family evolved into a mission to scale Indigenous adornment through modern techniques. Inspired by her Cookums beadwork, Angel became a visionary of tech regalia, debuting the wearable tech piece The Matriarch Speaks in 2017 in Calgary. Today, Indi City has grown from just an Instagram idea into a thriving social enterprise, producing laser-cut jewelry and multimedia storytelling. Her work uplifts Indigenous entrepreneurship, cultural resurgence, and matriarchal teachings. And she's also informed by her journey as a mother and also a creator. And I've just been so inspired by you throughout the decade, and I feel like we've both witnessed each other's like evolutions. And yeah, I just really respect everything that you've done, and also like how you, I don't know, you can tell you lead with your heart in a lot of the work that you do. And I feel like other people can feel that as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Shayla. That was a beautiful introduction.
I got you.
I just love you. You're so fabulous. And it's been such an honor, you know, in the same respect, to watch your career and watch you blossom as a woman. And the things that you bring to the social media space is just so important. I love the work that you're doing, and I'm so excited to like know you for the next 20 years and see what you're going to get up to.
Right. And I'm also very thankful that you've styled me in some beautiful pieces.
Those are some of our best sellers.
Okay.
The Metis and florals.
For those of you that can't see it, I'm wearing these beautiful pearl colored
I call them gilded bone.
Okay. I'm like, please help me here.
The gilded bone Metis and florals in the foot length. Yeah, they were our standout piece right from the beginning.
Yeah, totally. And for those that haven't experienced Indi City yet, could you tell listeners what Indi City is?
Well, right now we're earrings. We're very much a matriarch movement in our own way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you think about it, with Indi City it's a company. We create jewelry, but the jewelry is really just it's a nod to our grandmothers. It's their company, is what I often say. And Indi City is about channeling those stories from the grandmothers and bringing them into this time and space.
Right.
It's bringing the 7 generations that were before us so that we can create something tangible in this time and space for the 7 generations to come. So it's a business. We make jewelry, but it's also a whole lot more. You know, it's a spirit-led endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
I didn't realize it started from an Instagram idea. Is that where it originated, or was this something that how did you dream up Indi City?
I've always wanted to be a fashion designer.
Okay.
So I was taught by elders that when traditionally the way that we would know what role we were meant to be within our community is by being observed by the elders. So they would watch us as kids playing, and they would just see what we were naturally good at. And then they would have us mentored through our lives with people that were doing what we do or were meant to do.
So were there elders that witnessed you and were like, she's meant to be a fashion designer?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a really cool story. And I've actually never shared this, so I'm excited to. I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was like 5. You know, it's the typical girl with her Barbies, dressing them up, playing runway. And then throughout my life, whenever I would meet a grandmother, they would gift me something that I could make something with. So it would be like a piece of fabric or some beads or something to make something with. And they would all show me their work. Like that was the first thing they would do, is they would show me their beadwork, their pillows buckskin pillows with beadwork on them. I had a grandmother who would take me into she refurbished this old trailer that they were going to condemn. She fixed it all up and turned it into her sewing studio.
Wow.
And I just had that experience happen so many times in my life that I figured I guess I'm meant to make something with this and actually be a fashion designer.
So what was the first thing that you like ever made?
Well, at the time I was a writer.
Okay.
So I was an aspiring writer. I was dabbling in filmmaking, dabbling in animation, and storytelling was just part of, what I wanted to do, what I was meant to be, I guess. I've always been a poet. And where was I going with this story?
You started as a storyteller before you made your first piece of fashion. Or I asked you, what was the first thing you ever made?
The first thing I ever made was actually a street style blog for this magazine called New Tribe.
I think I remember this, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it was back in like 2004.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And what was the blog about again? Was it about Indigenous fashion?
It was about Indigenous fashion.
Okay, sweet.
So I would find fashionistas and folks in Calgary and just talk to them about their style.
Sweet.
And at the time it was called Indi City. And I wanted to start a blog and do street style photography. So photos and storytelling was what I started making. And then from there, I ended up becoming a mother. And my son's grandmother is a phenomenal beater from the powwow circuit, like all the things. Their whole life revolves around like creating regalia year long. And she said to me one time, she said, as a woman, when you're a mother, your life doesn't matter anymore. It's all about that child. And one thing you always have to have in your back pocket is a skill that you can use to make money quickly if you need to. So her chosen method was beadwork. And I remember the first time that I beaded, I was at a Sundance. I was cooking. I was one of the cooks. Finished my work for the day. And I went and sat by a tree, laid out my blanket, laid out my beads, and I just started beading. I had a little bit of time to. And the elder for the Sundance came up to me, Grandma Grace, and she looks at me and she goes in her Denny woman way. She's like, how you are here is how you are out there in the world. And I thought about it for a minute because at first I thought I was getting in trouble.
Yeah, which I have gotten in trouble a lot.
I think we tend to learn the best lessons by doing the wrong thing first.
I was at a Blackfoot Sundance and I got a lot of I got into a lot of trouble.
Oh no, we're going to talk about that off camera.
But there were lessons.
Yeah. She was so lovely though about it. It was so what it told me is that I finish the work that I need to get done to contribute to the community, so my family or whatever it may be, so that I can create something that's like from spirit.
Sweet. And so that was the first time that what did you bead?
I wanted to be a traditional dancer.
Sweet.
So I was beading hair ties.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And did you grow up dancing then?
I did not.
Okay.
No, when I was a young woman, I found my paternal side of my family. And my little sister was a dancer. And
sweet.
Yeah, she was amazing. She was like 15 and the princess of her nation.
Wow.
Women's traditional dancer. And she's like, you look like one of the dancers. And when I thought about it, I was like, I want to be a dancer.
Yeah. Have you danced?
I've done a few little things here and there. Yeah.
Okay,
not like competitively or anything like that.
That's cool though. So someone witnessed you kind of like in your essence in that moment and saw maybe something that you didn't even see yourself until you stepped out of Sundance, right?
I would say so. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the bearing witness part of it is really what brought it full circle for me. To have an elder observe me, as a young woman, because we miss those things. We don't have the traditional rites of passage. We don't have access to that. So I feel like we get put through rites of passage no matter what we do. And I think when you have a calling in this world to share a story or to usher in a movement or to create fashion, adornment's a very sacred part of our culture. In our language, we're both Nihiawan. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love how our language is animate and inanimate. And the only thing that is on the human, like our body, that is animate is pants.
Really? What?
Yeah. And don't ask me what the word is. But
That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So nothing of our body is animate, only our spirit.
Okay.
And pants.
And pants. Yeah, it's the pants thing that's throwing me off.
I know, right?
Well, maybe these ones are.
Ocean Kiana.
Yeah, Ocean Kiana's got that.
Pants to life. I love it. And they go so well with the earrings.
They do. I love the fit.
Yeah, me too.
And so you've speaked a little bit about the elders and the people that were in your life that showed you kind of, maybe fashion was a doorway. But I'm curious, like, where did you grow up? Was that something you were always around? Was the culture?
I grew up in a nation that was very colonized. I don't remember there being sweat lodges or anything like that. There was a church, poorly attended, but there was a church. And I grew up Christian, so very removed from my culture in terms of the spirituality. But I was raised on the land with like fishing, trapping, hunting, that kind of lifestyle. My Metis side, we still have our original family land script up in northern Saskatchewan.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Because you're from which nation again?
Well, I'm from the Peepeekisis Cree Nation in southern Alberta, so southern Saskatchewan, so Treaty 4. But I was raised in Treaty 6.
Treaty 6, okay.
Yeah.
And now you're rooted in?
I'm on the Sunshine Coast in BC. And I always say, I feel like I kind of skipped to retirement living there.
It's very quiet.
It is very quiet. Everything closes at 8.
Oh, wow.
And you get bored of the food choices. And
yeah.
I miss the city.
Yeah. Well, you're called an Indi City.
Right? I love Uber Eats.
And so having your brand kind of start, well, it sounds like you were like a storyteller, you were a filmmaker. What kind of led you then to dream up, starting the brand of Indi City? Was it just witnessing the lack of Indigenous fashion? Was it witnessing the endowment of your people and your culture? Like, what was the deciding factor of like, I want to get into fashion?
That's a great question. Thank you. Well, it started when I was little. My mom's a hairstylist, and we had fashion magazines in the house all the time. And I remember flipping through them and thinking, there aren't any women in this that look like women that I've grown up with, or women in the community. And I remember thinking, maybe I need to look like the women in these magazines. And I started dyeing my hair lighter, doing all the things that I could to like look not as Indigenous as I did. And there was this shame aspect that I had to go on a healing journey around because of the not seeing representation of my natural beauty in the world. So that was a huge part in the beginning was, why are we not out there? Why can't I Google search and find Indigenous beauty everywhere? Which is kind of neat because we're actually setting the standard. Like stock footage of us in this now moment is going to be what people in the future are looking at.
True.
Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting.
And scary.
And beautiful because the stock footage we have is not. And it's usually not us, even to begin with.
Right? There's like 5 women from the States and they don't even have their names right.
True.
So I guess part of the inspiration for starting this and wanting to create space in the fashion industry was wanting to see proper Indigenous representation. If I ever had a daughter, I'd want her to be able to Google search and find some powerful women like you there.
No, I can relate to that because I grew up pretty much like the only Indigenous girl like in my school. And so a lot of the times, I didn't realize this then, but I would like buy like really white foundation or like light foundation and try to like blend myself in more. To also hear you that you've gone through similar things and it was through the lack of seeing us reflected in these spaces that made us want to create. I could just see the mirror within our own paths when it comes to that. And I know Indi City has now grown to include earrings, but also tech regalia. How did Indi City form? And then, like, where is it headed?
Ooh.
It's a big question, but
yeah, it's a great question. I love talking about the beginning of tech regalia.
Mm-hmm.
I was recently told that it's not good to say that you're the first to do a thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I do believe that I am the first designer to incorporate wearable tech into traditional regalia.
I do think that was the first time I've seen it was from you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be the only one doing it.
Yeah.
But I would really like to create something a little bigger with that, with STEM and the youth and workshops and teaching them how to code their own tech and bring that wearable art piece to life. And hopefully one day we'll have a wearable tech category at the powwows where they like dim the lights and everybody comes out and does an intertribal with some like electronic tribal powwow music, right?
That'd be really cool.
And like some black lights. How fun.
Right? Well, and like how did the vision of tech regalia come? Because honestly, I wouldn't have thought that was even possible. And could you mention to listeners like what it is?
So tech regalia, right now we're just starting to prototype all of the dance categories. So what it is we're infusing powwow regalia with technology. So motion sensors, sound sensors. There could be some like benefits to like monitoring heart rates and stuff like that in the future. There's a whole like nerdy science side to it that I'd really love to get into as well with sound frequencies.
Ooh.
And the sound frequencies and the healing of the songs that they play at powwow and how that operates and affects the biometrics of the human body.
Sweet.
That's the nerdy side.
No, I love it.
The fun fashion part, though, is like I love to light up things. And I think it's like this artistic way of just talking about how bright our spirits are and how when we're dancing and we're in our joy and we're in community that we can just celebrate and be lit up together. So that's it, I guess.
No, that's beautiful. And I love that you've incorporated not just like one sense. It's like sounds like it's all senses are being, brought on, and also in an empowered way. Because I've seen the tech regalia and it's like very beautiful. Well, our regalia is already beautiful, but to like see that enhanced through light and through just another way of expression is really cool to see. And I think it's also taking like, it's innovating. It's birthing something new. And so I'm curious, like, what that process was like for you. Was that something that you just wanted to see? Was this something that you just like, where did the vision come from?
That's a great question because I love talking about how fashion and powwow have this intersection of like handmade adornment. And when it comes to powwow's actually always been a space of innovation. It's where we would gather, and have important conversations happen. It's a place where we would do trade and we would have beads and ribbon and new sorts of textiles introduced to our communities to use in different ways with what we were already doing with, seeds and hide. So it's always been this space of innovation.
True.
And in the world that we live in today, I'm like, what's the next innovation? Well, the adornment can become the tech, and then we interact with that. I always say that we are the original technology. We, as the human body, it's like a biological piece of tech. And when we get back to that space of remembering how technologically advanced we are with our gifts, what can we do?
Yeah.
I mean, like telepathy, that's just the start. When we clear our field and we get into this place of like being that tech and owning that, can you imagine the things that we would accomplish? Vine and I have talked about this before. We've talked about how fashion is a channel. And often, there's a lot of lateral violence and stuff that happens in this world. And fashion's always been a catty space to begin with. And you add the lateral violence and intergenerational trauma into it, and we have chaotic stuff happening in the background. Takes a lot of grounding and like really calling in those ancestors to exist in this space sometimes. But Vine and I were talking, and we had a great conversation about how the channel, everybody has access to it. And adornment is such an important part of what we do in this world because we're presenting our physical body in this 3D world, carrying our armor, carrying our medicine. So as a designer, you're essentially a visionary who's pulling what's coming next from the ether and channeling it into real time and space, and then placing it on a timeline so that there's a resonance between everybody. So it's not about copying. It's about we're all connecting to this channel and interpreting it through our own biometric field and channel. Yeah.
And I think sometimes maybe people don't know how to tune into their own channel. So they're like tuning into everyone else's channel around them. And so maybe that's where the copying and the imitation comes from, is because someone doesn't know how to tune into their own channel. So I'm curious if you have practices or tools that help you like align to that channel that you're talking about.
I love this. This is a great and hard question because it definitely takes some refining. When you are open and you are operating in spirit, no matter what you do, and you're aware of that, it's very easy to pick up other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, if it comes through me, it's going to be ease and flow. So if I'm facing any sort of resistance, then I'm going back upstream instead of just like flowing with the river. That was hard to say. So if I'm resisting the flow, then it's not mine.
True.
So if it does flow for me, and then often it's simply asking, is this for me? And then you'll know.
And it makes me think of the intersection of tradition and innovation, because sometimes maybe I'm not a designer, let's just put it out there, but I would be reflecting as an Indigenous designer, if my family followed this certain, I don't know, like floral design within my like grandma's family lineage, and then it's like, okay, do I just keep sticking to tradition, or can I also like infuse my own archetype and my own energy and essence into it? Or is that turning something that was once sacred into, where's the balance between like what you keep tradition and then where you innovate?
Ooh.
Right? That's something that I'm thinking of right now. Because even regalia is like, it comes from your family and your roots and maybe tradition. So it's like with tech regalia, that's something that hasn't really been seen before. So you're kind of like, pushing, you're on the edge, I think. And you're in between those dances of like, what's tradition, what's sacred, and then what's like innovative.
Well, I think what is sacred is innovative, and vice versa.
True.
Also, when we talk about decolonizing and indigenizing things, essentially what we're doing is we're just bringing it back to its original source, which is channeled directly from source.
True.
And I think that we have a lot of distinction between what's traditional and what's innovation and future. And at the same time, we could go woo-woo and like time is a man-made construct and past, present, and future exist in this now time and space. So what's the truth? Is it chicken or egg kind of thing?
True.
I believe our people were always innovative. And I actually believe that we've been at the height of technology before. And I believe that we made a conscious choice to come back to the earth and sustainability and being in right relationship with like the physical world after having reached the heights of technology. So are we pushing against the river when we think about like not advancing? Because I think we're going to come full circle no matter what we do.
Totally.
I think we have I know we have a responsibility right now to really listen to the boss, which is the earth.
Yeah.
This is something I've been chatting with people about at Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week. I watched my own table for the first time in years, and it was fun.
Yeah.
I got to chat with people about things I love, like entrepreneurship and Indigenous fashion and how dope Tia is. And like, we got our grandmas and our cookums and like everybody's here with us. It's such a powerful ceremony, that Fashion Week.
It is. It really is. And like you're anchoring in not just like, it's so much more than just fashion. It's like storytelling, it's ancestral, it's futuristic, it's like, and it's also bringing community together to like support one another. And so I love that you bring up like being at your table, you're connecting to the people that probably support Indi City, and coming back to that, like human to human relationship.
Yeah, it was great.
Right?
It's always through a computer, right?
Well, because I was just going to say, imagine entrepreneurship. A lot of the time you're sitting alone at home, you're isolated, you have this calling, these visions, but it's like, maybe, I don't know, are you accountable to a team? Like, what does that look like behind the scenes?
I remember when I first started, my coworkers were like the Canada Post ladies.
Yeah.
When I'd go and take all my earrings to like drop them off, they were my only coworkers because it was just me doing the one woman show. But the interacting in person, it's such an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we were chatting earlier about like when you travel, you collect crystals from different places?
Yes.
And I said, let's circle back to the woo-woo theory that I have because I so want to share this with you.
I want to hear it.
I picture you out in the world. And so I believe like we're the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
We're all like a crystalline being, and the vibrational shifts in the planet has shifted our genetics into a space of crystalline receptivity. So we put out like a prism of energy. It's different than it was before. Maybe we're not going to put this part on camera, but
yeah, no, it's fine.
But I believe that we're the grid. Like us as physical vessels, we're the crystal grid. So when our spirit is called into new places, whether it's for a speaking engagement or to sit and have tea with somebody, we're meant to create an energetic connection between those two spaces, wherever you were before and wherever you're going now, to regrid out that trade route so that there's like a way to get there. And so I see you out in the world, like moving your crystal around, and I'm like, yeah, Shayla, what are you doing next? I'm so excited.
No, yeah, when you say that, because I do feel called to like a lot of spaces, different, even when it comes to ceremony and like experiencing other cultures. I've gone to India, I've gone to Ecuador, I've gone to like different places. And yeah, I do think it's expanding my worldview too. And it's also teaching me a lot about the world and people. And I think sometimes what happens though is that grid can get like not clear, and then it can get really noisy by like other things that you come into contact with on the grid. So I think what I'm learning is like the importance of like purification all the time, and the importance of like calling your spirit back and like praying and like making sure that no matter where you are in the grid, you're like still that crystal or that anchor point for yourself. And I think sometimes what gets noisy about the grid too, though, is like, maybe you've experienced this too, is when you become that light or you become that thing for someone, other things will try to extract from the grid, or other things will try to plug into you and like receive energy from the grid. So now my question is like, okay, how do we continue to be a light for other people, but how do we also remain rooted and in discernment of when we are giving too much?
Oh, that is, I think, a thing that we're always going to have to be working on. It's like that daily ritual and ceremony. You know, when we talked earlier a little bit about how this started and the grandmothers and stuff like that, that's where I first learned about, like, Grandma Grace actually said to me, she said, life is the ceremony. And that's what she meant by how you are here at the Sundance is how you are out in the world.
So true.
So that with that in mind, it's like, well, how do we behave when we're at Sundance? We're in our prayers all the time. And everybody, that's the expectation. So those prayers of constant protection, you know, whether it's a physical oil that we're anointing ourselves with, or if it's just speaking in light code throughout the day, which is something that I actually do. People probably think I'm just nuts speaking all these weird words. But it's okay, because that's part of my daily ceremony, you know, and my authenticity is rooted in just being able to share that space to whomever. But I really believe protecting ourselves and making sure that our vessel is just full of our energy.
Yeah.
You know, you'll scroll through like Instagram and some wellness folks will always have something wonderful to share. I always feel like that's creator coming through at the right moment with the right words to just, you know, brush you off with cedar. I like to do the like releasing the cords, like whatever, where I have knowingly or unknowingly placed my energy, I call it back to me. And then I do this really woo-woo thing where I imagine myself in a rose quartz bubble.
Ooh, nice. Rose quartz.
Well, because then everything that goes out is from unconditional love. And everything that comes in
comes
is
back.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I've been practicing this one where it's like forgiving someone, like finding forgiveness like through the cord and just like sending them love, but also writing a letter too, but not actually like sending it. But I think for me that's like a way of clearing the cord or like the relationship a little bit. But then I think of like the web that we have as Indigenous women and how we're all interconnected, and like you had mentioned like some of the lateral violence, and then it makes me curious of how we clear the web of that violence that we inflict onto each other.
What have you come up with so far?
These are honestly things that I am like ruminating on, I guess, and reflecting on, because I think it's the elephant in the room. And I think that's why, I created Matriarch Movement, was because there wasn't really a space or a platform for us to like learn and support each other and empower each other. And so I think maybe this is like one solution, is like coming back to being in conversation and communion with each other and like supporting each other's journeys and like amplifying our voices and coming back to relationship. I honestly think is a big part of it too. And I think as much as social media has helped us, it's also maybe been a detriment to our own path and maybe sometimes our own even entrepreneurial journey, because you can get like, I guess, kind of lost or like pulled into like maybe a negative comment, or like you can get pulled in so many spaces. So I think also having like discernment with like the way I use technology and like the way that I interact online.
Intentionality is everything when it comes to these spaces that we put our energy into. I don't read the comments.
Turn off comments.
I don't check my DMs.
That's good though. That's like protection, I guess, like you had mentioned before, protecting yourself. And I know that you're an entrepreneur. But I'm curious, like we've seen obviously like the highlight reels and like the, you just did Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week. Congrats.
Thank you.
But also I'm sure a lot of Indigenous entrepreneurs can relate to the challenges that we face. And so I'm curious, like, are there challenges you've found in your journey, and like what has maybe been the lesson through that, and how did you find your way out of maybe one of the challenges?
Well, we spoke about discernment a little bit. And I believe that like the prayer of clarity and discernment has been one of the biggest things that's helped me heal. When I started Indi City, one of my first goals was to actually retire my partner at the time from bartending. I really wanted them to be able to have a lifestyle that would enable them to be their highest vibrational self. And, addictions and stuff is such a big thing in our communities. So my thought was, if we could be creative together, then we could really create something beautiful that doesn't include that, the lower stuff. So that was my first goal, retire my partner from bartending so that we could be creative together. I accomplished that within 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was so good.
Through like bringing on someone too to like support you, because like before that, were you kind of just doing it yourself?
It was just me. I was beading. It blew up on Instagram so quickly I could not keep up, nor did I have the ability to like hire other beaders and create a beading atelier and all of that stuff. So I was lucky to be part of a makerspace at the time, and I was able to learn how to laser cut. And RuPaul's Drag Race season 9 was happening at that time.
Okay.
And Sasha Velour came out wearing these really like beautiful long earrings, and Indigenous women, we love our big earrings, right? So I thought, well, my beadwork is too heavy, but I could probably figure out what those earrings are made out of. And I found out it was a company called Isla NYC, and they made laser cut acrylic. And then after that, Warren Stephen Scott came out with a laser cut acrylic line. And then Mad Auntie had a laser cut acrylic line. And I thought, I could do this with my beadwork. I could translate the beadwork to the acrylic design. And I forgot the question.
The challenges of an entrepreneur.
Oh.
One would be scaling too. That
was one of the biggest things, was like, how am I going to scale this luxury fashion product into something like, I can't charge $500 to the general public, or like, I can't afford to only make one pair of earrings a week worth $500. So I needed to figure out how to scale, and that's where the laser cutter came in. And then there was the challenge of like, am I copying somebody? Because Warren,
you saw other people doing it.
Yeah, there was already 2 other, folks in the Indigenous world who were doing it. And I thought, well, as long as you remain true to who you are as like a beater with your story, and the story is the biggest part of it. Your story is different than anybody, and that's going to come out in your design. So I thought, well, I'll stick to that. First pair was a pair of bison horns. I carry a Bison Nation name.
Sweet.
So it just made sense.
Deadly name.
Right? And then from there, it took off so fast, I couldn't keep up. And it just kept going and going and going. And I think the most difficult part about that journey was that I was experiencing domestic abuse at the same time. For a good 7 to 8 years, it was just part of my story. And so was this theme of matriarchy. And it felt so contradictory to be upholding this like divine feminine energy in my ideology, but to be experiencing the polar opposite of that. So that incongruency was, you could see it on me, like physically weighing me down in my life. So building from that space, that was one of the biggest challenges, was trying to find that congruency between what my spirit was trying to create and what was actually happening in my physical world.
Thank you for sharing that, and like for being so open and vulnerable. And I think that's something that we don't obviously know or aren't a witness to, but I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I think that's some of the pressures that we have as entrepreneurs, is to like keep showing up and like to keep producing and to keep like, selling. And I'm hopeful that like you've now had some space to hopefully like begin your healing journey from that part of you, and to hopefully be out of that now. And also hopefully you've given yourself time and space to grieve, I think, that part of your journey and like what that held and like what those teachings were for you. But it is really hard too, I think, as entrepreneurs and even as Indigenous women, because I feel like we always want to give and like support other people, especially in our own life, even if they are hurting or harming us. I don't know about you, but I'm like a giver, and I'll constantly give to those people until I'm so depleted.
Here's my heart.
Yeah.
It's still beating.
Yeah. And then I'm like, wait, where's my cup?
I don't need a heart.
Yeah.
We're fine.
It's just like we overgive a lot. And so I'm hoping that, it sounds like hopefully you've found some of that cup and you're refilling it a little bit more back on the coast and like in that solitude and like finding those places of stillness, really. But thank you for sharing that. And I think it also just speaks to the resilience of like resiliency of your human spirit to like be able to hold those 2 contradictions at the same time and still coming back to your art and still coming back to wanting to share that to other people. It's really like, it's deep work.
It's the work.
Yeah.
I think when we're building a brand or anything, the whole story of who we are in those moments of creation is ultimately what people are wearing. That was the healing journey. I've been on a healing journey for about 3 years now. I went into ceremony, and I remember being like, I need a new life. I need to walk my talk in all areas of my life. I need to be authentic in all areas of my life. And I can't do that if I'm continually hiding this one part. So I did move to the coast a couple years ago. Yeah. I spent a good year single. That was fun. And then I got into a relationship, moved to the coast. Yeah. And I went on a healing journey, like really deeply with the land and cold dips and ceremony. And Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week this year was really special because I didn't like put the pressure on to like show up and show off and do all the things and like be the top. And like there was no competition in my brain anymore with anything. Nice. not that that's ever a thing for me, but you always compete with who you were before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You want to be better.
The past version of yourself.
Yeah. So that's always been my inspiration is I want a better collection. I want to be a better story than last time. And this was the first year where I got to just collaborate with somebody whose spirit was very aligned with mine.
Nice.
Such a cool thing. Like low key, prairie cowgirls, like that's just I can't like and then just pulling old Indi City and doing like an anthology of everything that we've done and creating from that space of joy for the first time.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I always love showing. It's fun. It's an exhilarating rush, but this year it was two stepping down the runway. And it was a culmination of the healing journey that I've been on.
Nice.
And also kind of like the last time I'll do it like this.
Yeah. So I feel like it was almost like a little catalyst. And now you're coming back to, I think, who Angel is after the dark night of the soul.
It was a long dark night.
Yeah.
I thought a couple months.
Oh, no.
3 years later.
I can relate. Saturn return.
Okay. And you're just coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Is that 27?
I felt so long, honestly. Saturn was in Pisces, I guess, for a long time. And it's now like coming out of it next year, like February. I'll be out of it.
Oh,
I'm Pisces.
What's your ascending?
Cancer.
Oh my God, you're a double water sign in
Gemini
your
moon. Yeah, it's wild.
Oh my gosh, your emotions must be powerful, which is cool because that's also a conduit for your wealth.
Yeah, I have 6 signs in Pisces.
6 signs
I'm
in
a double Pisces stellium.
Oh my God.
But I guess I have a water trine. So I didn't know what a water trine was. But basically, I hope I'm getting this right. I think I have like enough water and enough earth that I'm really good at like materializing the spiritual. And so like I'll always supposedly be abundant in wealth and in spirituality because of that trine that I have in my chart.
And so it is.
And so it is. It's really cool to learn about though. What are you? What is your sign again?
I'm a Cancer sun.
Okay.
And then I have a Virgo ascending.
Virgo ascending.
Which I think gets my like creative chaos in line.
Structures it.
Yeah. And then I have an Aries moon.
Oh, okay. I don't know what it's like, but
Aries is a fire sign.
Yeah.
I always say like the moon and my sun, they make steam like in a sweat lodge. So it's purifying.
I could see that.
I have to spin it that way because the fire sign sometimes is a bit much. And then the water sign as well. But
Cancers, sensitive little beings with a protective shell.
But we have claws.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, I guess I'm also a Cancer, I think. Yeah.
The cool thing about my astrology is I have so my wound and my purpose, so my North Node and my Chiron are both in Gemini, which is hilarious because Geminis are known for their ability to communicate. And I think that has been my biggest detriment is I don't often speak what I need to.
That's your wound.
That's my wound. And then it's also my healer and my purpose is to speak.
So it's like a part of your North Node, is it called? Oh, so you have to find more of your voice.
Exactly.
And communicate more.
And not from my wound or maybe from the wound, but in a...
More like what have you done with the wound? Like how did you transform the wound?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're using your voice today. I feel like you're putting into practice.
I have been looking forward to this moment for a really long time.
Likewise. And I love your collection that you showed at Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week. You collaborated with, what was her name again?
Risa Fritz.
Risa Fritz.
Brass Buffalo Trading Post.
Okay. And it had like a bunch of Pendleton jackets and designs. There was a beautiful big buffalo jacket at the end. Was it a buffalo?
It was a buffalo.
Okay. That thing was massive.
Was epic.
I was like, I need to take a photo shoot in this. Like,
you do.
The energy of that jacket was intense.
We should do a shoot in Calgary.
Yeah, no, I would still be down.
Okay, good to know. I'll let her know. Because I said we need to do like a full thing with this. And it was such a cool experience to have that juxtaposition between traditional art and then contemporary art. So I said it's like streetwear from 1890 meets Indi City 3000.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then the story, it was the story that we shared with the models, because we always like to share like the channel behind the music that we pick and the story that goes into creating these collections was she's just laying in her bed. She's just chilling. She's thinking, who knows what it is. Maybe it's about her lover or what she's going to have for breakfast tomorrow. And then she realizes that the sun's going down and she wants to go and watch it. So she throws on her old coat, was maybe her great grandpa's coat, her cowboy boots, her Indi City from the night before, jumps in her Chevy and drives across the field to go and dance to the sunset.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Sounds like a night out in Alberta.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a Southern Alberta good night right there.
And so when you're dreaming up like what collections to do you start with that story first? Like, how do you find the inspiration of each collection?
It's usually a feeling to start. It's like, what feeling am I trying to channel and share with the audience through this collection? And it's the grandmothers. They're like, what evolution of spirit are we bringing you through right now? And, I mentioned the hard stuff about the backstory of Indi City. So the last 3 years has been about finding that space of creating from joy again. That's how it started.
Yeah.
So that joy was what I wanted to share on the runway. And I had one of my amazing exes.
Yeah.
She's like, she doesn't like country music, but she would put it on for me because it made me so happy. And I didn't even realize that until she was bearing witness to my, my experience in life.
I don't like country music either.
I wasn't a new country fan.
Yeah.
I was strictly 90s country.
Okay.
And then I met this guy.
Yeah.
And he's fabulous. And he likes country music, which was weird.
Okay.
But he sent me a few songs and I started listening to new country again.
Nice.
And then Risa, actually, her niece is the song that we used for the runway. So she's a Métis country singer.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And it's about the Wild West. And
sweet.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And I love that you're coming back into the reason why you started creating. And that was really through joy and like self-expression.
Right?
Yeah. No, and that's how it should feel to create.
Exactly.
And I know we talked a bit about the challenges that you went through. And I know you've had many highlights throughout your career. I'm curious, like, what are maybe one of your favorite moments of like where you felt like, oh, I'm like a successful entrepreneur? Like, what has success looked like for you? What were some of the highlights of your career so far?
I guess we could like go two ways with that. So tangibly, I would say the moment of realizing that my brand is being perceived in this way in the world that I don't even see because I'm so busy doing. I don't often look up enough to be like, oh, I've made a thing. Yeah. People know the thing and it's great. And everybody Indi City. But every time I go to an event, there's so many people wearing Indi City.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. I see it at every Native event, every conference.
And at first that's overwhelming. I got shy. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere. Or we'd go to like a conference and it would sell out, like gone. Within 10 minutes, every woman had as many as she could grab. So that was one of those moments. But I'd have to say, like, in terms of like bougie Native experience, I traveled to Darwin, Australia in August.
Sweet.
I was invited by the Canada Council for the Arts to represent Indigenous fashion in Canada amongst other phenomenal designers. I'm just going to name drop like Justin Jacob Louis, Chief Janice George, White Otter, and Sage Paul. So to be amongst those incredible, right? Exactly. I'm like, oh, I'm here. I'm here. It was a good one. But the Indigenous folks, so the Creative Australia were the ones that invited us. And they just had us in the like, we were VIP. Everything was figured out. And we got to meet with 5 of the delegates from Aotearoa and 5 from the Pacific Island Indigenous fashion world.
Sweet.
And we're going back actually to show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's like taking what started, from your grandmothers on like a global stage and presence.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Thank you.
And to be surrounded by other Indigenous designers that are also doing cool work, it feels like this is, the resurgence of like Indigenous fashion and storytelling. And when you think of Indigenous fashion, like within the future, what do you hope to see? Do you hope to see more of that global presence?
That was a huge part of it. It was called the Tri-Nation Reconnaissance experience. So we were coming there to do recon on like what's happening with the Indigenous folks in Australia. And what we got to experience was that they're putting art centers on they call them missions. It's like the reserve. So they have art centers on all the missions, and they are creating textile with the nation members with silk screening.
Oh, wow.
So their designs, silk screen, and then they sell the fabric. So they're creating an economy within their nations that makes sense for them right now. And then the events that we got to attend was like the celebration. There was the arts festival. There was the music awards, Indigenous music awards, or Aboriginal. They call them Aboriginal in Australia. And then there was a film and a runway. So all aspects of fashion and art were all in one space at one time.
That's so cool.
It was good. You should come.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to. Well, and not only are you seeing like more global presence of like Indigenous designs and stories and, our culture, you're also seeing cross collaborations happening between Indigenous and non-Indigenous brands. I'm curious your thoughts on like that and like if you support it, and also what do you hope to see non-Indigenous people supporting Indigenous fashion? What are the other ways?
I totally believe in collaboration as long as it's done in a good way. And I do believe that we are stronger together. I believe that our allies that are coming forward right now come from a good space for the most part. I'm here for it. I'm here for building, economic sovereignty for our nations together. That's just what's meant to be, I do believe in Indigenous folks in the leadership roles, though, in these spaces. And when it comes to like our designs and stuff, as long as there's space to share that story in a good way, I believe that that's what we need to be putting forward. The storytelling is really part of the innovation and part of the culture as well. It's that middle ground. They talk about like the 3D and the 5D, but the 4D is the speaking it part. So when you're talking about like healing the web, I love that we could kind of circle back to that idea of having these conversations and understanding and sitting with each other, making space and time for that. That's how we heal that web. Because women are the architects of community. I didn't say that. It was Jolene Stonehouse Calahoo.
Okay.
I want to quote her. I quote her all the time.
Sweet.
She's an amazing thought leader. And I think when we come together and we share each other's words and credit each other's words and stories and experiences and give that credit where it's due, that's where the magic comes in. That's how we build and we collaborate in a good way. We practice with each other so that when we're working with folks, allies, we're making sure it's done in a good way.
Totally. No, I love that. And you've credited different Indigenous designers throughout this conversation of where you first saw the, what is it, laser cutting?
Laser cutting, yeah.
Earrings. So I love that you're also embodying like what you say that we should do is like giving credit where it's due. And also, maybe like asking the right questions before you're in collaboration. Because I think like for me, it's like, how do you know if that collaboration is in alignment with like who Indi City is with like another person? Is there like a period of time where you build trust? Is that first? Or is it like I know it looks different for everybody, but I'm just curious, like what happens behind the scenes before like a honest, meaningful, authentic collaboration can happen. But I think it comes back to that relationship that you were saying and that communication between each party.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you can sit with somebody and just be your authentic self and have a laugh or anything like that, then that's kind of like step one, check. And then from there, you just keep talking about the things. And there's certain things for me, like values aligned things that are really important to me. If I'm going to do like big business, if I'm going to sign a big contract, I want to make sure that, the fact that sobriety is important to me is something that's respected and that I'm not expected to show up and be contrary to that at all. Yeah.
And I think it's something that I've been learning along my journey is really the importance of knowing those values and knowing what you stand for. Because if you don't know what your values are, then you could say yes to a big contract that maybe doesn't have the same values as you. And then it discredits the trust and credibility that you've built with your audience, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's a hard one to navigate sometimes.
It is. Yeah, especially the standards and the pedestal we place a lot of Indigenous businesses and brands and designers because, our values as Indigenous people are connected to the land and they're connected to sustainability and like that intergenerational thinking, how it's going to impact the next generation. So yeah, values are interesting. And I think we're often tested as Indigenous entrepreneurs if we will stay true to those values that we have.
Such good words, Shayla. And that's the truth. Relating that to a little bit to the story that I've been walking for the past 3 years. When I first started Indi City and went from beadwork to laser cut earrings, I didn't think about the trend-setting impact that this company and having it out there in the world would have on our communities. And it's everywhere. And I always said, like, if a woman or somebody wants to learn how to laser cut and make earrings, I'm not going to like make a thing about it. The lateral violence is just not my thing. But I've felt this immense responsibility since setting this trend about the environmental impact that we're creating as Indigenous entrepreneurs, mass producing laser cut acrylic. And I've been sitting with this for 3 years thinking, I need to find like the anti-venom to this. Like, it's great. They could last forever. They could be heirloom pieces. Are we mindfully slow fashion creating these earrings? Are we mass producing them for quick sale with no thought or story behind the design? Those are questions I ask myself. I have no expectations of the rest of the creators who are doing that. There are some that are aligned with that and you can see it in their work and it's just beautiful. But for the ones that aren't, who are just making money to make money, are they thinking about their environmental impact? Are we being aligned in our shared vision for what Indigenous fashion is going to be moving forward? Those are like just reflective things to think about in terms of collaboration. But the 3-year hiatus was good for me because I thought I need to come up with a solution to this. And what do I want to do in the future? I want to recycle it. I want to recycle everybody's offcuts and create some sustainability that way.
That'd be sweet.
Right? Everybody has offcuts from making their laser cut acrylic. So let's put all that material back into our economic ecosystem and do it that way.
Sweet.
I mean, there's other things, but bringing that sustainability to my practice moving forward as an artist and as an entrepreneur is absolutely key in this next chapter.
And I love that. It's a great segue because I was going to ask you about your next chapter. And you were speaking a little bit about how Indi City is taking on its own new world maybe and transforming into something else. I don't know if you're allowed to speak to it very much, but when you think of the future of Indi City, what does that look like?
Oh, it's expansive. I've always talked about how I wanted to be a head to toe company, and I just kind of got stuck on the head. I haven't gotten to the toes yet.
Well, the head expanded and it went everywhere.
It really did. We're lighting up regalia. We're doing all the things.
But now it's back to bringing it to earth.
Grounding it again in that vision. And it's kind of fun because my next like top secret move, I guess you could say, is about like starting at the feet. So
sweet.
I'm going to start from the feet and I'm going to work my way up and incorporate all aspects and building out a new system of how this company, this brand is going to move forward with 7 generations ahead. You know, I don't want them to dig into the earth and have, you know, Indi City stuck in the earth.
True.
Right?
Valid.
So that's really important to me in building this next chapter. And when I think about scaling business, I've held back for a little bit. In my personal life, I just had a big awry happen, a breakup while Indi City was set to scale to 5 million.
Wow.
Was part of an accelerator, you know, name dropping again. There was some of the biggest ones out there sitting beside me. And I'm like, okay, we're scaling to 5 million. Let's do this. And then the creator was like, no, restructure, refigured this plan for, you know, with the earth in mind. And I was so humbled. I was like, okay.
That's so funny that you're bringing that up because that's, I think, the difference of being an Indigenous entrepreneur is we can't really scale like entrepreneurs are always told to always be scaling, always producing, always selling more. But I think as Indigenous entrepreneurs, we actually are the opposite. We really have to root into our values, figure out who our identity is as an Indigenous person, what we stand for, how it's impacting the world. Once you figure that out, then you can slowly start to scale.
Yeah.
And it is humbling and you have to have patience. You're just like, why can't I just scale and keep selling? But it's harmful.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're not called to be that in this time and space. So it's we have this huge responsibility. You know, I always think about how, you know, the world does things. And when you're thinking about scaling, it means you have to start taking investment, which means you start selling off pieces of your company. And the way that I look at entrepreneurship is, you know, we're creating an entity. So basically we're having a baby.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
And it needs to be nurtured from like, you know, baby can't do anything to, you know, Indi City 7. So I think about like 3 years ago, she was like running around the powwow with cheesies on her mouth and her braids were messy and she was missing a moccasin and creators like, go and get your baby and make sure her braids are done. And she's had some healthy food and she's going to come and sit on the blanket with you. And I had to think of it like that. And that's my idea of like indigenizing entrepreneurship is how do we raise our children? Do we take them out of the toxic environments? Are both parents capable of like carrying this into the future? Are we both looking at it reverently like medicine? You know, we have to make hard choices in those spaces. So when we're nurturing what we're creating, I think those values just align with that space. But yeah, so
it's like having patience with it. And I think it's dismantling your expectations of your own self and of your business in a way, because what is seen as successful in like the colonial world is often about the money and about how many collections you have and how you keep So it's like almost reframing how we look at success, I think.
Absolutely. Did you find that difficult to do?
Yeah, that's something that I'm learning right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I think also we should mention not only do we have to, you know, we have to remember our values. I think also we're dealing with everyday things and like struggling sometimes to get our basic needs met. And I come from poverty. My family didn't have money. And so I think for me as an Indigenous entrepreneur, you know, it's really challenging sometimes to say no to something if it can put money and bread on the table, not only for myself, but for other people in my family or my community, you know? So I think also I struggle with that, but I also struggle with like the stuff that we are still dealing with as Indigenous people. You just throw that on top of everything else. Yeah.
You know what's neat about this time and space with that in mind?
Mm-hmm.
We're all kind of sitting on the same playing field in terms of like the majority of folks these days, Indigenous or non-Indigenous, with the global political climate, global finances, like the climate itself. We're all kind of being humbled and brought into this space of like, what is wealth?
Exactly.
Does it matter? I think for the first time in my life, I didn't buy anything new for Fashion Week. I was like, what do I have in my closet? Because groceries are expensive. And I was never that person to say that. Like, Indi City's been successful. So I've seen both sides of life. And over the last little while, you know, being brought back into that space of like how I was raised, raising my son was very humbling, but also a good reflection of what the rest of folks are going through. And I needed that. You know, you can only buy so many things and, you know, take vacations and enjoy life in that high vibe, or not even high vibe, just the fast lane or whatever. It gets boring.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're doing it alone.
Right?
You're like, cool.
Bearing witness to myself.
I have all these things.
Surrounded with
now
my clothes.
What? Am I going to talk to this fur jacket?
Looks great on you, though.
No.
I would.
No, but for real, like you're saying, I think we are in like a really big paradigm shift that's happening right now. And it is like, are we going to keep holding on to the old, or are we going to start birthing and creating and reclaiming something new that is like connected to us as Indigenous people? For the listeners out there that are Indigenous entrepreneurs that are maybe feeling super overwhelmed of like, you know, the world, our values, all the things that we just talked about.
Just light conversation. No big deal.
What is a simple tool or like a piece of advice of like, you know, if they're just new of dreaming up a new idea, like where should they start?
I love this question. I think I need to think about that for just a moment.
A rush.
A good place to start. How did you play as a child?
With Barbies.
Right?
Yeah. And yeah, I was selling things actually.
Are you selling things?
My grandpa had a house and it had one of those doors that was like half, and then like you could open the window. And so I would like pretend that was a store, but like all you could do was rent the towels from me that you needed to go jump into the pool. And like I have a little like store set up with all my cousins.
You're an entrepreneur. Yeah. You got the towels. I love it.
I was like, store's closed. Close the window.
You can't swim anymore.
Yeah. So maybe that's where I got my leadership skills too.
I love it. That's adorable.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I just had an opportunity to chat with the youth on my nation for the first time, which was really cool. And I got to share stories about how my entrepreneurship started on the Flying Dust First Nation where I grew up.
Nice.
I had lemonade stands.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. And then I also did like school on Saturdays. So not a fun thing to play, but here I was. It was the snacks though. I'd have snacks, and then all the res kids and friends would come in, play school with me and have snacks.
Have snacks.
Yeah.
I love this. So like it really stemmed from our childhood.
Totally. And that's a traditional teaching, which I think we innately do anyways. You know, it's such a cool thing that no matter whatever's in our blood memory, like our genetics, is going to come through in the way that we operate in this world.
That's cool. I love that. A starting point is to reflect on what you did as a child.
Yeah. What brought you joy.
Yeah, no, I love that.
And always coming back to that. That's what I had to learn the hard way. You know how we talked about doing the wrong thing and getting in trouble? I got in trouble from the creator. You know?
True. Which is funny because I sometimes think of my lessons like that too. I'm like, I'm getting taught something through this other person, but it's really also maybe a reflection of like what creator's showing me that I gotta learn.
It's always harder too when you're like, this is what I need. This is what I need.
Yeah.
And we're all one.
Yes. Coming back to oneness.
Yeah. So we're all learning from each other.
Despite our differences.
Mirroring things.
True. Seeing each other as a mirror.
Yeah. So when you talked about values aligned, that's one of the spaces that I go to first. The people that I want to be in community with and in collaboration with are people who are operating from a space of love instead of fear. Because if there's two choices, if you have a choice to live from love or live from fear, why choose fear?
Fear, I think people choose fear because they're afraid. I think in our system, we want to always be safe. And so I think sometimes people don't know if they'll be safe. Like on the opposite of fear, what is that? Maybe I'm risking something within myself, or maybe it's gonna, not be safe for me. So I think that's sometimes why I think people choose fear, because they're afraid of like not having safety.
That's a good way to think about that for sure.
Like, because that's how I thought of it. Because I'm always like, I'm like you, where it's like, I replace fear with curiosity now.
Oh, I love that.
So even though I might be afraid, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be curious, because even if maybe it's not the safest thing for me, I'll probably still learn something from it. Right?
Walk away with it. It's like half full instead of half empty. I do that with anxiety now.
Oh, yeah.
I translate anxiety to excitement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excitement. Yeah, because it's the same energy, actually. I was reading about it. And then how your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's like your dream, like if you keep feeling like something's going to happen from an empowered state, then your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake if you just keep feeling it. Did you hear about that?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, brain, we are going to have the best day ever.
Yeah.
And then it is the best day ever.
It's like reshifting.
Right? Paradigm shifting or perspective shifting, I think, actually. Yeah, Jacqueline Jennings, she was the one who really helped me through that one.
Oh, yeah.
She would just sit me down and be like, let's shift our perspective here. And I think it was just her gentle voice and nature that just soothed me and made me feel safe. And then the shifting the perspective from anxiety to excitement shifted the whole day. And it's like a cool thing to like have in your back pocket to think of, like, that's why I say the love and fear thing. Am I afraid of it? Or is it just because it's uncertain, unknown?
And am I creating a story of what I think what will be, which is not true?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And I have the power to create whichever way I want it to go. So why use that power to be afraid or anxious? I think that's a good tool for entrepreneurs, actually. Instead of thinking things as a loss or a win, thinking about it as, what am I learning? And that's tying into your curiosity, you know? And if we're always going to be curious, that's childlike.
True. It makes me think of this teaching in yoga. It's they just make peace with suffering. They just it's a part of life. It's not good or bad. It just is. And it's a part of our human experience. And so I'm like, it just is.
It's always going to be there.
Yeah, which is a tough lesson. It's life's work. We're talking about life's work here.
I know, right?
Well, speaking of life's work, where can people support everything that you're up to? Where can people find you? What do you got next for 2026?
So in 2026, I'm going to be launching a new website.
Nice.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I've been on a bit of a hiatus, so I just needed to get back to a space where if I'm going to have an online presence and a store, it needs to be done in a way that feels good. So 2026 is when I'll relaunch that whole birth that baby.
Nice. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Sweet. Well, I'm super excited to keep up and also to hopefully be wearing not only things on my ears, but on my feet eventually one day.
And everything in between.
And everything in between.
And everything in your hand.
Okay. I love it. I love the dormant that will be coming my way.
We'll send you some swag.
Well, thank you so much, Angel, for being here and for sharing your story, a little bit about, the honesty and the vulnerabilities that come with being an Indigenous entrepreneur, but also in a way that inspires not only myself, but for the next generation. It was really nice hearing, a little bit about where life has taken you.
Thank you, Shayla, for inviting me to do this. I'm really honored to be part of this because the matriarch movement, I don't even know where to start. 2017, when the grandmothers were like matriarchy, matriarchy. That's where that first piece came from. I remember sitting in that moment back then and thinking, I don't even know where or how. And then to be here now with you and seeing this come to fruition in terms of like women in leadership roles, women being the architects of community, you being the fabulous channel of divine feminine. I mean, all those water sign placements.
I know.
There's a lot of feminine energy flowing through you. And it's just so I see you. I love it. It's so good.
And it's also, because you said 2017, because I got the dream of the matriarch movement in 2020. So I feel like Creator is probably planting a lot of seeds into all of us as Indigenous entrepreneurs and creators. And I feel like, yeah, sometimes it's coming back to what we spoke of at the beginning. It's just like finding that center so that we can begin to hear those messages and to act on them. Because there's one way to receive a message and it's another to actually take action and make it happen. So thank you for being a part of it. And to close it out, how would you define the word matriarchy?
Matriarchy is about women in leadership roles, whether that's being a leader within yourself, with your emotions in your daily, or being a leader out in the community or a thought leader. That's how I define matriarchy.
Yeah, I love that. Sweet. Well,
How
thanks. How do I?
Yeah.
Matriarchy, I think for me, it comes back to one, maybe seeking out the definition within your own language, if there's a word for matriarchy, or also where your lineage comes from and if it followed like a matriarchal line. Within Cree language, there's not a word for matriarchy within Plains Cree Y dialect, but one of my mentors, Simon, told me the word for woman is a squeo, and the word for girl is a squasis. I hope I'm saying that right. And he's like, and what it teaches you is those two words sound similar because it shows you the thread between the responsibilities that we have as women to the younger generation. So you can't say a squasis without saying a squeo. So it talks about your responsibility and that thread of like generational connection that we have.
That's beautiful. I feel like I need to give you some tobacco for that.
Give it to Simon.
To expand on that a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
So the fire is this iskateo.
Yeah.
Which women are fire, right? Like we bring the warmth. We are what life is from. And that's what fire is for us too, right?
Right.
We wouldn't exist without it.
Yeah. We're like, I heard of that teaching too, where it's like the word for fire is iskotu. Right?
Iskatu, yeah.
And that represents fire, and then esqueo. And women are like the fire of our communities, which is like in the center of the teepee, that fire. Which brings me to another thing, side note. I don't know if I'll post this, but so my last name's Stonechild. I learned that it comes from like the stones from the sweat lodge. So like in the center.
No.
And that's the first thing that gets brought into the sweat is those stones. And child is like, you know, a child. And so I was like, wow, I had no idea that my name was connected literally to like creation and to like the birthing of something new. And so speaking of crystals, on my long-term journey, I actually want to create like my own crystal and like crystal shop, stone shop for people to actually like, and it'll just be called Stonechild.
I love that. Just another entrepreneurial endeavor on your expansive journey. I love this. Shayla's crystal shop. I will be there.
Because stones have life and they're animate. And like that's what we learned through our language too. But yeah, I was like, wow, just got a deadly last name.
Do you remember what I said to you when you were 18?
No, I have a bad memory.
Okay. We were doing the play. You just moved to Calgary.
Yeah.
And you were going by, I think, your maternal last name at the time. Yeah. And I remember I looked at you and I said, you know, Olette's a cool last name, but Shayla Stonechild already sounds famous.
You know what's funny is my mom, that's why she called me Shayla Stonechild, because she was watching a movie. My name was supposed to be Jade. And then she was watching a movie and she was watching the credits and she's like, Shayla Stonechild would be a really cool movie star name.
Heck yeah. Yes.
So I'm like, thank you, Mom.
No doubt. Hey.
Right? She's got her bags.
I love your mom, by the way. Side note. She's fabulous.
Side note. She is a matriarch. And yeah, when I think of the word, I think of my mom. She has been a mom to many. And she continues to be a mom to many. And yeah, she's just so selfless too.
Absolutely. She embodies that word, matriarchy. Absolutely. Nurturing. She's there for you. She sees you and she lets you know that Lori has seen you.
Sometimes too much. Just kidding.
I have one of those moms too.
I know, right? Yeah. If she sees you, she'll follow you on Instagram. She'll add you. She'll also go follow and add some guy that I went on 2 dates with. So now
and comment.
now we use aliases. Anyway.
Are you like Jade Olette?
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
I'm going to look for your alias website.
No. Some guy did think Stonechild was an alias name for me because he didn't know I was Native. He's like, is this your stage name? I'm like, no, I'm Native, dude.
What else would you be? You totally look like a Cree woman. Like there's no
I know, right? Sweet. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you follow Indi City and Angel and everything that she's up to. You can also hopefully check out her website next year, and I'll make sure to include everything in the show notes. Hi.
Hi. Thank you.